Hello and welcome to Dating Across the Aisle with Jyl and Pete,
Hi,
where differences spark connection, not conflict.
I'm on the right.
I'm on the left, and this is our discussion for the day. How was your week?
It was good, just plain and Jane. Did the adulting stuff, ran some errands, bought groceries. Nothing too important. How was yours?
Good. Nothing exciting, but I have been watching the basketball finals.
Oh,
What'd you think about that game one?
you know, I would rather talk about game two. Game one lost me some money. I gamble a bit, not much, but enough. Game two won me all that money back and then some, so it was good. Yeah.
Can't complain about that.
Not at all. Was thinking about going to the casino here soon too. I'm getting an itch.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, we like it there. It's
dude.
a fun place. Okay, so weekday update. I have not gone on any dates.
Nor have I. I got nothing.
I got nothing. I don't know why. Because I got off the dating app. I have been talking to a couple people, but nothing's really emerged.
Nobody is stepping up.
So I thought today we would talk about, because we talk about this word all the time, communication. I thought, let's talk about the top 5 communication tips for a healthy, connected relationship.
Okay.
So, the first one is listening to understand, not to respond.
I hear that a lot.
So, why it matters is that often we're just waiting for our turn to speak and we don't really listen to what the other person's saying. But to truly listen builds trust and emotional safety with your partner. So, the pro tip here is to reflect back what your partner says. So then you say, what I hear you saying.
Right. But everything nowadays turns into a debate and everybody wants to win. But in a relationship, if you win, guess what?
Someone loses.
Somebody loses. And it's a person you care about. So there should be no, I want to win, me versus you. It should be both of you against whatever issue is at hand.
Yeah, so when you do this, it shows that you're engaged and it also helps with miscommunications. Because you might hear them say something, you're like, so what I hear you saying is this, and they're like, no,
No, not at
that's
all.
not what I'm saying at all. And then you're like, oh wait, I'm going to need you to tell me
Explain,
what you
elaborate,
mean.
go a little bit more into detail.
Exactly. So number 2 is everyone's favorite therapy trick. Use I statements.
Instead of you, I.
Yes.
It's
Why
like-
it matters is that it keeps the conversation from turning into a blame game.
Right.
So if I say to you, never make any time for me.
You're always busy yourself.
So 2 things are wrong with that. You're blaming somebody for how you feel, right? And you're using like an overall sense that you never, right? That's probably not true. You probably never, make time.
Right. Easy way to turn that around is just say, I love it when you make time for me.
Or you say how you feel. I feel lonely when we don't spend time together.
Turn it into the I thing.
Yes, so you don't blame it on them, you tell them how you feel. Number 3 is timing is everything. And why this matters is bringing up really tough subjects when emotions are really high or distractions are present, it's rarely ends well. So if you know someone's already in a bad mood and you want to bring up a topic that's maybe not the best,
Timing is
timing
everything.
is good.
I remember back a long time ago, I was actually married. And it was actually the NBA Finals. It was June-ish of about 21 years ago. And I was watching the Miami Heat, I believe, won that year. And I was watching Game 6. It was the last game they actually, I didn't know it, but they actually clinched the finals that day, that game. And midway through the third quarter, it's so interesting. And my wife at the time walks in front of me, of the TV, and says, hey, can we talk? I was like, is it important? And she's like, no, not really. Don't worry about it. I said, okay. And so I'm back at the game. And then, I don't know, I got served with divorce papers like not too long after.
It was kind of important.
She said it wasn't.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. You also have to be honest. Something you want to talk about like that.
Right. Yeah.
I bet you'd turn the game off for that discussion.
That was a really important game.
Okay, so a pro tip for this is to ask, we all love this question. Is now a good time to talk?
See? Right?
See?
I'm like, no, now is not a good time. Game 6, the NBA Finals.
Is now a good time to talk? No, I'm busy or whatever. And then you're like, okay, not a good time.
Yeah.
So timing. Number 4 is to practice repair, not perfection. So why this matters is that conflict is inevitable. What matters is how you recover.
Okay.
So the pro tip here is small repair attempts like saying, that came out wrong, or can we start over, can de-escalate a fight instantly. So if you say something like really snotty to your partner or something, and then they're just like, okay. And then you're like, sorry, that didn't come out how I wanted it to.
Man, it's about delivery.
Yeah?
And I suck at delivery.
Yeah, I don't think that you would notice if you needed to change it.
No, I'm like really straightforward to the point, and I don't know. I mean, I guess I need to work on that, but I don't know how to. I just, I'm a straight shooter. I don't know what to say.
Maybe I need to say to you, I think that came out wrong.
So it's
You
not,
want to say that to me again?
is it like, it's not what I said, it's how I said it?
Sometimes.
I suck at that.
Sometimes it is.
Take 2. Let's try that again.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Give me a redo.
That's funny. So the last one is to check in regularly. Why it matters is daily or weekly emotional check-ins keep little issues from becoming big ones. So, I was married for a long time, and this was a huge issue that we dealt with that I didn't realize till after I got
Checking in to see how each other was doing.
It wasn't that, it was that little things start turning into huge fights because you just don't deal with them.
Right.
You sweep everything under the rug, you just don't talk about it.
Right.
And then there's like a huge explosion, like a huge fight over something dumb.
Right.
But you're like, I don't think that that's what this was about. But it's also just, I like it says, the pro tip here is to ask, how are we doing? Is there anything that you need more or less from me lately? And so then you can air your grievances, I
Right.
guess.
Are you the type, like, if you get upset with something, like if you're in a relationship, are you the type that wants to talk about it right then? Or do you need time to think about it, process, give me, I don't know, a few hours, a day, or whatever it is? What type of, do you want to handle it right then or wait?
Well, I haven't been in a relationship for at least 2 years. But I have been working, and I notice it like with my kids. If I get really mad, then I'm like, I need to give myself a minute before I address this because I'm way too mad right now. So I've been trying to really work on like getting to a place where I can make a really good conversation or something where I'm not here when I'm super mad. But I don't know, I haven't been able to try it on a partner, but I would say more or less, I'm not a fighter, so I tend to hold things in more and think about it. And sometimes it just is like, oh, I'm fine. And other times but I'm not afraid. I'm pretty well known for saying like, hey, can we talk about what you said to me? Like this really hurt my feelings or whatever. Like I'm not afraid to have those kind of conversations.
How does that work if you have 2 different styles? Like one person wants to talk about it immediately, like right then and work things out, and some people want to wait. How do you resolve that? Who do you take turns on? Like, okay, we'll do it now this time, and then later, if there's a next one, then we'll wait a while.
I mean, that's not a terrible idea. I think what the bigger issue is like how escalated is it at the time for one of the people. Like sometimes you'll be like, I need a minute to walk away from this and then but if you do that, if you say like, I'm going to walk away, you have to say like, give me 30 minutes. You have to set a time of when you're going to come back and not just keep ignoring it. So if you do that, you have to say like, hey, I'm really tired right now and I don't think that this is the best time to have this. Like, can we please talk about this in the morning? Like, let me sleep on it and like we can discuss it tomorrow. And then you have to do it.
But what
You
if
can't just go,
yeah,
oh, maybe she forgot. Just
right?
ignore that.
Well, if you're in an argument and before the other person that wants to wait says anything, what if I was to say, I'd really like to talk about this right now. It's a really big issue and I'm not going to be able to get past it until we discuss it.
Yeah. Then they're telling you that this is of the utmost priority,
Okay.
right? And you're going to have to say, okay. And you can say, I'm really tired right now, but I'm willing to have this conversation with you because I can tell that you don't want to wait.
Okay. It's good. I like it.
So that is our pro tips on communication for today.
I like them.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about sex and intimacy today.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
We haven't talked about it yet. So
You kind of blindsided me on the last episode. We kind of got into body count, which is a little bit about tied into sex.
I know I should have saved it for this episode.
Right. And so I was like, wait, what? I thought we was talking about, breakups. And then all of a sudden, but hey, I'm good off the cuff. I can handle it. Just give it to
We
me.
can talk about sex.
Fine.
Why is sex so important in a relationship?
Well, I would say that it helps you connect on a deeper level. It's also something that you only do with your partner. So it's kind of very important in that aspect too, but and it's fun.
Who doesn't want to do it? Some people. I do want to say that Pete and I have the same feelings about monogamy because we're both monogamous. So if you're in a relationship that's open and that's what you guys do, then obviously our take on that is not
Right.
going to sit with you. And that's fine.
You can alter everything.
Everyone do whatever you're going to do. I think that we see that as it's only something that you do with your partner if you're in a relationship. Just wanted to put that out there for anyone. There's a lot of preferences in sex. There's a lot of things that people think are fine. There's a lot of things that people think aren't fine. Really, what this comes down to is the two important things about sex is one, hygiene, and two, consent.
I thought that was like a given.
You would think that you would never have to talk about this.
Hygiene?
Hygiene. People, you've got to be clean.
That's
No one
nasty.
wants to touch you if you're not. That's all I'll say about it. There's a lot of chatter about this.
My goodness. Yeah. I've spoken to nurses, and sometimes homeless females come into the ER and stuff. They said that is some of the foulest smell that they've ever encountered.
I worked in ICU
Oh,
for 10 years, so
okay. Well,
I'm well aware of the smell.
okay. So you agree with that?
I agree with I don't
Okay.
know.
I would not know, but ooh.
I mean, I don't think you're probably trying to have sex with homeless ladies.
Well, no, that's why I said I wouldn't know. I mean, no. I mean, I did have that story when I was in New York, and that those two homeless people
yeah.
were arguing, and no more dick for you, or no more sex for you. I was like, whoa,
Oh,
okay. Well, I don't know why he would want that, but, or she, whatever.
whatever.
It's got to not smell well.
Yeah, so there's not much to say except that shower before you go on a date. I don't know what to tell you. My best friend went on a date and she's like, the guy smelled so bad. His hair was all greasy. And I was like, oh, that is the biggest turn off. So I don't know. I guess if you have to tell people to shower, it's
No.
smell good. That's it.
When I had a job, I had this guy that they, I don't know, gave to me, put under me to, I don't know, show the ropes. I was like, as soon as I met him, I was like, this isn't gonna work. I said, you know what? I forget his name. We're just gonna call him Ed. Yeah, Edward, come here, man. Oh no, never mind. Stay right there. So here's the thing. You're gonna get paid for the rest of the day, but I want you to go home. And I'm going to need you to shower and put on some deodorant and wash your clothes. And he took off. I was like, okay, cool. He got the message. The next day he shows up and I was like, Edward, hey man, good morning. How you doing? Let's not get started. I was like, you did not, take care of the things that I asked you to take care of yesterday. I said, hey, do you need money to buy laundry soap or shampoo, conditioner, body wash, or do you need any deodorant? Because you didn't take care of what we needed to, and we can't be having that. And so I said, hey, we're going to try this again. Can you please go home and take care of what I asked you to take care of? So he went home. The next day, he showed up. I was like, Edward, hey, man, what's going on? And he came over, and I was like, sweet baby Jesus. I said, you smell good, man. Yeah, and,
He listened.
he did, and it was
Took
good.
3 days?
Yeah, it took 3 days. Yeah, but man, it was.
Maybe no one's ever told him this.
Well, I know, and that's why I was telling him, and I was like, "Hey, man, we can't be having you around. Everybody's got to work here, and we don't want to be smelling you the whole day." It was some bad BO, but he fixed it, so life went on.
Well, that's good. If anyone wants to know, Pete smells good.
Boy,
I don't ask you to. You don't have to
is it
shower.
hot in here?
I was like, I love that one.
In fact, I was just talking about I'm running out. I need to go and buy some cologne. I like to wear Jimmy Choo. It's called Man because I'm a man.
Sounds like you.
Right, yeah.
Now you just gave away another secret about yourself.
I wear deodorant. I shower daily.
I can tell.
Brush my teeth often.
Often.
Yeah. Floss daily.
All the things.
Right.
It's really not that hard.
No, it's not.
And you lotion.
I use a lot of dead gum lotion, like a lot. I feels like I buy a bottle of lotion every week. That's how much. But I don't want the big ones. I don't like the pumps, like where you squeeze and stuff comes out. So
Because you're always living out of a backpack.
well, I like to travel. I like to travel. So I mean, lotion is important.
Right? Okay, so we got hygiene out of the way. So now we're going to talk about the next important part, which is consent. So consent is ongoing. It's not a one-time thing. So consent isn't a box that you check.
So you got to ask every time.
It is active, continuous agreement that can be withdrawn at any time. Yes once doesn't mean yes forever or for everything.
What if somebody says, "I give consent for as long as we're together"?
Then I guess.
Is that ongoing? You have to say.
I mean, I guess you can do it however you feel comfortable. Also, I don't think you're giving.
Why not?
I mean, I guess you could.
Why can't guys give consent?
You can.
But is this a double standard? Is this only one-way street? What's going on here?
No, I mean, I don't know many guys who are like, no, don't.
Well, I mean,
Maybe.
There are. I mean, I'm sure there's guys out there that would rather play video games or do other things, and it's like, yeah, not right now, or no, I don't know.
I'm busy right now. No, I mean, maybe. Yeah, yes once doesn't mean yes forever. Consent must be freely given. It's only consent if there's no pressure, manipulation, fear, or intoxication.
So I don't know if it's here in Colorado or whatnot, but I did hear that there are some states where if alcohol is involved, you cannot even give consent. And so,
Correct in Colorado.
like if both of you are intoxicated or had any alcohol, you cannot give consent either way. So that's
Just be careful and like just know who you're sleeping with or whatever you're doing.
makes things very tricky.
I mean, there's some crazy people out there that will get you in trouble. So that's what you got to be careful of. I have this conversation often with my son that's in college about consent and parties and chicks that are blacked out. And I was like, I better never hear about anything like this. So he's aware. So if it's not an enthusiastic yes, it's a no. Anything less can lead to confusion or harm.
Right. I think there's a lot of confusion in this because I see videos all the time on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. And I see females saying sometimes yes means yes. Sometimes yes means no. Or sometimes no means yes. Yet sometimes no means try harder. What?
Okay, ladies, there cannot be mixed messages around this. You just have to speak your truth. If you don't want someone to do something, you have to say no.
Right.
And no means no.
I even saw a video the other day, and this one female was saying, I went on this date with this young guy, and everything went well. We hit it off, great. I asked him, I said, "Hey, would you like to come over? But I'm not going to sleep with you. I don't sleep with people on the first date." And he was like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine. Maybe we can just cuddle." And she was like, "Yeah, I'm for that." And so they went back to her place and they got into bed and they get close to each other and cuddle, and he just falls asleep. And this is her telling the story. And she goes, "Yeah, so he just falls asleep. He doesn't even try. Like, is he gay?" And that made me think. I was like, you told him
You said no.
and he respected your wishes and your boundaries, and now you're throwing him under the bus and insinuating that he might be gay because he didn't try. And I don't know if she was wanting him to try because she really wanted to have sex with him, or if she just wanted him to try so she can reject him. Yeah, so I don't understand that part.
All of that, any of that scenario is manipulative.
Every bit of it. And
So, like, if you wanted to have sex with him, you should tell him.
well, yeah.
Or try.
That's where,
Or-
honesty comes into play. I see everybody on dating apps saying, I just want an honest person. Nobody wants to be honest anymore.
Yeah. So nonverbal cues also matter here, but using your words are best. So people can freeze or fawn or be in a movie theater like this.
Hey, reminds me of a date story that you told.
Look for stiffness or pulling away or going quiet.
You said you were given all the signs. You wanted
All
him.
the nonverbal cues.
You
I never
wanted
said
the torpedo tongue.
this story's never gonna
No.
die.
Oh, that was a great story. If you have not heard that, go back into the different episode. I'm not sure what episode was it, 3 or 4. Maybe it was 2. I don't know. It was really early on, and listen to her story about that date. It's great.
Great. So one of the things that you can normalize checking in with someone is saying, is this okay? Is this okay? I know. Or do you want me to keep going?
But that could also be a mood wrecker. It's like if you check in every 5 minutes.
No, but it's like if it's your first time and you're advancing things and like just to check in with the other person and be like, is this okay?
No.
Or like,
Well, so is that coming from the female?
I mean, women can say it too.
Okay. I'm just saying. Okay. They're asking the dude,
Like, say-
is this okay?
Do you want me to keep going?
Say less. Keep going.
Go. So asking shows respect, not awkwardness. So
Okay.
have you ever asked a girl if you could kiss her?
Never. Not once. No. I mean, pretty good at picking up hints and body language. Yeah. I mean, so I don't feel like I ever have asked. Well, I've never asked, but I don't feel like I was ever wrong.
I feel like if that guy on the date would have said, "Can I kiss you?" I would have been like, "I don't think I'm ready for that yet." But it didn't matter because
Maybe I should.
didn't ask.
Maybe I should try that on my next date.
Can I kiss you?
Yeah. I mean, and see how it goes. I've never done it. Might as well try her out.
Yeah, because if she's like, "Yeah," then you know, like, okay. If she's like, then you're like, "Oh,
Check, please.
strong, independent woman." Let's pick up her own.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's consent in real life dating situations. So you can have consent in long-term or established relationships. Being in a relationship doesn't equal blanket consent. Desire and comfort can still fluctuate.
Back to what we were just talking about asking if I can kiss you. So there are people, more females than anything, and say, I want a man that takes charge and that can lead. Do you think that he should still ask for a kiss if she is wanting somebody that takes charge and a leader?
I think that because that's what I like,
Right.
and I like if a guy, I think that it shows so much respect to me if he asks me.
Okay, sounds good. Just a thought that crossed my mind.
Even married or longtime couples benefit from regular check-ins around intimacy. So, I mean, I was married a long time and
Did you have to schedule sex?
no, I never scheduled it,
Okay.
but I definitely did it many times that I didn't want to.
Well, in life, we always do things we don't want to do.
Correct.
I don't want to go to work. I'm sure you don't want to go to work, but you have to,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I have kids. Sometimes I don't want to spend this money on them, but I have to.
Right.
So good for you.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to take one for the team.
Right, you do. And because it's important, and it goes both ways. It's like sometimes he's may not want to go shopping, but he's like, you know what? He's thinking on this in his head. I don't want to, but you know what? Because you're important to me and that's important to you. Let's go.
That may not be a popular opinion to take one for the team, but
I like it.
when you're married, I think sometimes.
Well, I mean, like I said, you can't just be take, take, take. You have to be a giver and a taker. You know, sometimes you give. So, like, if he's willing to give you go with you these shopping trips or watch your favorite show with you or whatever, I mean, he's
he might be making a sacrifice too.
Right, exactly. So it goes both ways.
Gray areas and mixed signals. Alcohol or emotional coercion complicate consent. So if you're unsure, just pause and ask. It's not about perfection, it's about being attuned and respectful. And then the last thing is just sometimes people hear no and take it as a rejection or a rejection of them. A lot of times it's just not right now. Right? So sometimes it's like, I mean, I might want to kiss you on our next date, but not right now.
Okay.
Learning to handle no with maturity is part of being a trustworthy partner.
Yeah, I mean, I take rejection really well. Good at it. I've gotten rejected. It's like I said, hundreds times, thousands of times.
Yes, I'm trying to think. Definitely no guy has ever said no.
I've rejected quite a few people.
Have you?
I have. They don't take it very well. Females do not take rejection very well, in my experience.
Oh, we definitely don't. We're not used to it like you guys are.
Right,
Because we're always the ones that are turning people away.
right. Yeah.
So for you to get rejected by a guy is like, ooh, that hurts.
I've done it. I'll tell you, they do not take it very well.
I'm sure. Okay, so we're going to talk about sex and intimacy in modern dating now. So there's the pressure to perform versus versus connecting. Let me say that right. Hookup culture often emphasizes physical performance over emotional intimacy.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And then intimacy versus sex, many people conflate the two. So explore the idea that vulnerability, trust, and presence, not presence as in you buy a present, but your presence.
Be present.
Yes.
That type of.
Can be more intimate than sex itself. So communication is foreplay. How open conversations are around consent, boundaries, and desires create deeper connection. So when is the right time to have sex with someone?
Don't ask me. Be like, anytime. It's a good time.
There's the man answer for you.
Right. Okay, well, what's the female answer?
So, no, I think that what like in 2025, we're discovering like there's no universal timeline for this. Okay. What matters is both of you being mutually ready and clarifying what you want. So, like, am I doing this to connect, or am I doing this to be liked, or am I doing this to avoid rejection? Like, these are just.
Am I doing this for one good fun night?
Right. So there's a myth out there that there's like a 3-date rule, right? Like you should go on and,
There is? Yes. I didn't know that.
or at least this is kind of like our age group, like you grow up around, like you have to go on at least 3 dates before I'll sleep with you.
Right.
There are some people that have longer. They're like, I have a 5-date rule or whatever.
Right.
And so this is saying that is really outdated and you should really follow your own values instead. And so it says the 3-date rule is a popular dating guideline suggesting that people should wait until the 3rd date before having sex. It emerged from a mix of traditional dating norms and pop culture, aiming to create a sense of mystery, build emotional connection, or ensure that both parties are genuinely interested in each other just for sex. So the reason that this is outdated is that relationships don't follow formulas. Right? Like we're all different. We all have different wants, needs, connections, chemistry.
Absolutely. Because I've heard about couples, getting together and from 0 to married was less than 6 months. And then I've also seen the couples that they didn't get to 60 yet. It's 0 to 10 and it's been 5 years and they're still boyfriend and girlfriend. So
right. So people connect at different speeds and sexual readiness varies based on comfort, chemistry, personal values, not calendar milestones. So you're like, okay, we made it to 2
date
weeks.
number 3.
Now we can do it. It centers on sexual gatekeeping. This is one of the myths of the 3-date rule. The rule often frames sex as something that one person gives and the other person takes, reinforcing outdated gender roles, especially around women waiting and men have to earn their way in.
That's said that the females are gatekeepers of sex and men are gatekeepers of relationships and marriage.
Correct. It can pressure both parties. If you're waiting for a specific date, it can feel like very performative. You're like, okay, it's here. Like, now what do we gotta do? Some people may rush into sex just to meet the deadline and you're not really ready, while others withhold intimacy even though they're ready just to follow the rule. So it neglects communication and consent. What matters more than arbitrary timelines is open, honest conversations about boundaries, intentions, and emotional readiness. Today's daters often value emotional intelligence, clarity, and mutual respect over games or unwritten rules. Sexual timing is becoming more about shared readiness than a strategy. So, communicating sexual boundaries and desires. So, how do you bring up your sexual preferences with someone, your boundaries and expectations early without killing the vibe?
Right. Boy, that is a tricky situation because if somebody were to ask me, he's like, hey, well, what do you like in bed or whatever? And I start
You're like,
listing
"Yo."
these 100 things. They're like, whoa, pump the brakes. You've had plenty of partners. Or if I'm like, well, I don't know. I haven't really, it's like, oh boy, this is going to be bad if I don't list anything. So what is the right thing to say?
I have found that I don't usually like to talk about sex until I meet somebody in person. But if somehow sex starts being talked about in the conversation, then I usually say something upfront about, I'll tell you what I say, but don't judge me.
I,
This is just my preference, okay?
okay.
I always say, if you want to hit me, hurt me, burn me, or slap me around, I'm not for you. So if you like any of those things, that's fine. You can. I don't.
Yeah.
And so if that's like something you're really into, and they're going to know right away that we're not compatible.
Okay. Yeah, I don't usually ask what their preferences are early on because I feel like it's a mood killer. And I don't know if either one of us want to visualize the other person with somebody else and doing that act or whatever it is. So I hold off a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's,
Because, well, and it's also different with each person. So it's like, well, what was working for you with somebody else may not be fun or work for you with the next person.
and there's going to be some girls that are super sexually confident and they're going to be open about talking about this, and other girls that are not at all, and you're going to freak them out or whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle, but I don't really mind talking about it. I'm totally open about it.
I'm pretty open too. If somebody asks me, I mean, I usually am trying to be funny. So sometimes I go with the response. Like if somebody says, "Hey, so what do you like in the bedroom?" It's like I'm a trisexual. They're like, "Wait, what?" It's like, "Yeah, I'll try anything just about once."
So, green flags are when a partner respects your pace, listens, and checks in. The red flags here are pressure, coercion, guilt tripping in early sexual dynamics with someone. So, casual versus intentional intimacy. So, we live in the dating world of all the hookups, and you'll see on people's, if you're on dating apps, I'm not on one anymore, but if you see people's, you'll see that they're like looking for something casual or a long-term relationship.
They're open for anything, really.
Right.
If you want to hook up, we can do that. If you are into a long-term relationship, well, let's talk and get to know each other and see how it goes.
So are you looking for fun, connection, partnership, or you're unsure? It's okay not to know, but it's important to be honest with others about where you are. Right. I think most men know that they have to put long-term relationship on theirs if they want a girl to actually match with them, but it's possible that that's not what he wants.
So women want to be lied to?
Can you separate sex from feelings?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, guys, I would say for the majority of men, yeah, it's just an act. And you hear it all the time, even in the movies. It's like some guy could have a wife that he is dedicated to. She's treated a great, she gets everything she wants, and he could go and have sex with somebody else, and it means nothing. And he's going to come back to his wife and he's like, But it's all about communication too. And,
But you don't think that's okay, right?
what's that? If it's communicated between the two, I believe so.
Between him and his wife?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I'm thinking he's like doing this behind her back.
Oh, no, no. If you doing it behind that's something different. I'm just saying, if you're pretty upfront whenever you get with somebody, like, hey, to me, sex is just that. Sometimes I like something different. You are always going to be number one. You're my wife. I'm going to come home to you every day. I mean, that's just something you got to work out, but be honest and upfront.
Okay. I think women have a harder time.
Separating. I believe that to be
Many
true.
people can't. There's men too that can't.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure there are, but I'm just saying for the majority of the men.
Sure. Sexual compatibility. Physical chemistry is important, but it's not everything. Emotional compatibility often enhances physical intimacy.
I agree with that. Yeah, it gets better if you have stronger feelings for that person. Like it could be the same, but for me, it would get better because I have strong feelings for that person at that point because it's not just an act. So, yeah.
Okay. Sexual communication improves sex. Yeah, I have a story about this. So, I was raised in a super conservative, extreme religion.
Why do you say that and not say the name?
I just don't want to offend people that go to that church.
Okay. Okay. I feel like everybody already knows what you're talking
I
about.
mean, maybe, probably anyone who knows me knows what it is, but that's fine. And I was married for 20 years and we just never talked about anything around sex.
Was that,
Nothing.
does that mean like speaking during sex or speaking about sex?
Either. Like, there was never like, do you like this? Do you want me to do that again? Do you want me to
So
try
y'all-
something else?
Y'all didn't know each other's bodies and what each other liked?
I mean, I think we thought we did, but it wasn't until I got divorced and then I was with somebody who was super communicative and I was like, whoa, this is way better. Like, you can just ask her what you want.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
Yes, you can.
I'll tell my embarrassing story.
Please do.
Like, oh boy. Yeah, it's way better to talk about it. No doubt about that. And most people don't just know what you want.
That's what I was
So
talking about.
you got to ask her what you want. You got to say what you want. You got to say what you don't want.
It's good to like, check in after you have sex. For the
Correct.
first time, it's like, so is there anything you liked? Is there anything you didn't like? Is there anything you want me to do more of? Yeah, I like it.
How'd I do? On a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10 was...
And then how do you have to learn how to address mismatched libidos or different desires in early dating
That's
stages.
difficult. Yeah. I've been in a relationship. I was in a relationship for, man, it was almost 3 years. And, we cared about each other. And so we tried therapy, counseling, because things weren't going well towards the end. And when we get to talking to the counselor, we're sitting just like here, and she's across the way, and we're talking about. And when intimacy comes in, I'm like, oh, I'm ready for this one. She's like, well, because I feel like there was a big mismatch libido, and the counselor asked me, well, how many times, or how frequent would you like to have sex? And I was like, well, there's 7 days in a week. Weekends, most of the time, people don't work. I mean, what, 7 to 10? It sounds about right. And so then they ask her, and she's like, well, like, what are we referring to? Is it like a week, a day, a month, a year? And like, whatever you feel comfortable with. She's like, maybe like once a week. And well, you can see the difference there. And this is when I knew the relationship was about done and over, because the counselor is like, well, see, well, we're not that far off. You said 7. I said, well, it's 7 to 10. And she said 1. I mean, so 7 is like 6 and 1 is like 2, like 6 and 2.
quite a
And
bit
so,
different.
hey, and then, so she's like, well, so if you come down a little bit to like 5 and she goes up a little bit to like 4, then y'all aren't too far off. It's like, are we really negotiating how many times we're having sex? I was like, I don't want this. It's not for me. And so, yeah, it was the beginning of the end.
Yep. It gets even harder the longer that you're in relationships to match up.
All right. Well, there's more to that story though, too.
Okay.
I forgot. Let me back up. Before she asked about frequency, she asked how our sex life was. And I was like, well, it would have to like need resuscitation to be alive. And I was making fun, but it was the truth. I said, listen here, doc, I could tell you in the 2.5 years we've been together, how many times we've had sex on one hand. And I was like, and I could give you change back. Yeah, it was not good. Yeah.
That's not
Right.
okay. Okay, this one is around healing and intimacy. So past traumas, religious shame, or unhealthy patterns can impact your sexual comfort. Dating can bring those things to the surface of maybe you get triggered by something or whatever. So intimacy can be scary because it's vulnerable, and sometimes withholding sex is a boundary, sometimes it's a wall, and you need to know the difference, and that's part of your emotional growth.
And some use it as a weapon.
For sure. Women know that they hold the key to this in
Right.
their relationships. And so,
Sometimes it's weaponized.
correct.
And it's like you treat the guy like a dog. If you do this for me, then you'll get a treat. Or if you do that, you'll get a treat. That's terrible.
Okay, so here's some just questions for discussion. Why do we sometimes have sex when we don't really want to? Probably more for women.
Taking one for the team?
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah, because you know it's important and
Men don't have sex when they don't want to.
they don't.
Like, I'm saying they never not want to.
I mean, there are times I've done it when I didn't want to, where I was like really tired or sore from, I don't know, working out or just, in pain because I had a bad back sometimes. It's like, it's important to her. Okay.
Okay. Women,
You're struggling with something.
why we do this when we don't want to?
I mean,
I mean, we kind of already talked about.
right, but there are a lot of times that like we just spoke about briefly earlier, is there's a lot of times guys do things that they don't want to, not necessarily sex, but maybe they don't want to mow the lawn. Maybe they don't want to be a protector that night if somebody breaks into your house. Maybe they don't want to do these things, but you know what? They still do. So, I mean, is that looked at the same way? And especially, okay, like if you're married, and this probably goes more for traditional relationships where there's like a stay-at-home wife, and if the wife is not feeling it and so she doesn't do it, is like, okay, well, if he's the protector and provider, you know what? I don't feel like providing today. Can he say that? If she can say, I don't feel like having sex today, can he say, I don't feel like providing for you today, protecting you today? Are those
It's a question.
just asking? I'm just saying that it can be looked at both ways to me, that you're doing things sometimes you don't want to.
Sure. Okay, this is a question that I like.
Okay.
How has porn influenced our expectations around intimacy?
In a very negative, bad way. I mean, you're probably, if especially whenever this hookup culture is like, and you have sex just for pleasure, one night stand, whatever it is, hooking up, and you're expecting somebody to be swinging off the damn rafters and doing all kinds of tricks and stuff. And it's like, oh, well, that's not what I expected. And they say expectations are the number one cause of disappointment. So, I mean, that could lead to a disappointing experience.
I really think that porn has messed with the younger kids' idea of what sex is. My nephew recently got married, and
I know this story.
we were sitting around talking, and we were asking him, like, do you have questions about sex? Because he was waiting. And it was like my brother and me. It was just like a small circle of us.
Okay.
And he's like, I don't think so. Like, I don't know. And I was like, just so you know, it's not like porn. Like, she's not going to look like that. She's not going to sound like that. Like, don't make that your expectation.
Right.
So, I don't know. There's a really, really good documentary by Lisa Ling about pornography and what it has done to some of these kids. Not just kids, there was also men that were married in this documentary. I'm just talking about like their addiction to pornography and how it just like killed their real sex life. And it's a really good documentary if you want more information about what that looks like. I personally don't have a problem with porn as long as everyone knows about it. I've taken a different stance on this. I used to have a hardcore stance
No.
against it, but
There are couples that I know that actually watch it together,
Yeah.
and it's actually beneficial to their relationships.
yeah, and I think that like for some people, like maybe that helps you get in a mood, maybe whatever. If that's what you guys both decide, that's
Get
fine.
your motor running.
The non-singer has sung.
Hey, you know what? Just because I can't carry a tune doesn't mean I like to sing. You hear me in my
I
vehicle?
know, he sings.
Shoot.
Yep. And this voice teacher says nothing to him.
She's great about it. She lets me sing my terrible. Yeah.
That's funny. So, is it possible to build emotional connection through casual sex, or is that a myth?
Say that again, please.
Is it possible to build an emotional connection with someone during casual sex?
Yes, I believe so. Over a period of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because you get to know each other better, and I think it shows not exactly like that, but like the movie Friends with Benefits. And
Love that movie.
I mean, I don't know anything about it, but
You've never seen it.
I've never.
I know.
I don't watch that type of crap. Garbage. Anyway, yeah. So I believe, I believe that can happen that way, where it's just you form this bond, and yeah.
Yeah. So there is something that I want to talk about, but we don't have time to talk about it today. But I do want to talk about this because this is like very
Well, what is
personal to
it?
me. I want to talk about purity culture.
Oh yeah, there's not many of those anymore. What is it like? They said like 3% or less is of the population wait till marriage now.
I don't know. Everyone thought I was a crazy anomaly when I was married. I was like, I've never slept with anyone but my husband. They're like, what? They're like, I've never heard of this. I'm just like, I guess I'm weird.
I mean, my ex-wife was the same way. I
Well,
think.
you guys were teenagers.
Well, yeah, we met in middle school, dated through high school, college. We got married. Yeah, so
Okay, so on our next episode, we'll talk about purity culture and then something else too, not just sex. Again, I mean, unless you want to keep talking
I
about
mean, I'll tune in so I can find out what we're talking about. That's about how it goes.
what a nice life you have.
I don't worry about shit. I don't have any stress. I show up and I run my mouth. It's a pretty good gig.
What a good gig you
It's a
have.
great gig. I tell you, she's the mastermind and all the brains behind everything. I just show up and run my mouth.
And then you edit everything,
She makes me look good.
and then you put everything on all the platforms, all your social
All
media.
right, I like it. Wouldn't know what the first thing to do about all that.
I know.
I'm like, hey, I see this now, or I'll be like, this didn't show up for me. Okay, let me see. I'll go work on it. Yeah, it happens.
Yep, yep. Okay, so this week, maybe open your heart and mind about if you're in a relationship, about taking a look at your sexual relationship, maybe figure out how you can do better, be better, or, look inward and decide what you could do for yourself. If you're still dating and maybe you're not sexually active, there are so many good books around sex and just learning about how to do this right and to learn about your body and all different kinds of things like that. So maybe you could open up your heart and mind to something like that this week.
Yeah, check in with your partner. And hey, no means no, because facts don't care about your feelings.
Bye.
Bye.